Alright guys, just got settled into the hotel room. Staying in a very lovely establishment here in Ohio. Gonna be doing some hunting out on public land. I got here earlier today. It was pouring rain pretty good. It's November 17th today. This will be my 4th hunting trip down here this year. Did an early season hunt. Did last week of October kind of scrape week hunt. I have a group trip that I go on with my brother and a bunch of guys from work. Been grinding it out down here. A lot of time in the tree. Passed on a couple smaller bucks, one decent one. I had an encounter with a shooter last week. 14 yards, read the script, drew back and beamed a branch. Actually a little tree about the size of my finger. So I got out my set, hung my stuff today. I got everything drying out in the hotel right now. It was raining pretty good, but I was able to get in pretty quiet and get my saddle stuff out in the tree. It's all set up for the morning. I really just got to bring my bow out, climb up and clip in. It's like a 1.9 mile hike to get back there. It's pretty far. It's actually a place my brother's been running a camera all year. He hunted below it on the main trip and had an encounter with a big buck, but same thing, game of inches kind of deal. Never got a shot at it, so I'll be the first person hunting this spot. I've been running cameras out in public for like 3 or 4 years now, and I noticed last week of October you get a lot of daylight activity and you catch a couple mature bucks kind of here and there, but I notice after the first round of breeding, I would say like November 2nd to 11th or something like that, like in that 2 to 11 period, I don't really pick up a lot of daylight stuff and scrapes or really bucks at all. But it seems like after that first round of breeding happens, they kind of return to those community scrapes if you can find them out in the woods. So that's where I'm going to be sitting. It's a ways back there. I'm honestly a little burnt out from the season. I'm sure you guys can understand, the people who hunt this type of hill country stuff, what it goes into it to try and kill a mature buck. So a little heartbreaking what happened last week to beam a tree like that, but it's part of the process. I just need to stay positive and just keep at it. Trying to be better at that, trying to be better at keeping my head in the game, not being thrown off my path by the little things and the hiccups along the way, and just trying to enjoy the process. That's been a big lesson for this year so far, is just working through the struggle despite struggling pretty hard, but also having some success along the way. So being early morning, got like a 2-hour hike to get back there, so we'll see how it goes. Alright, it's November 18th, 2:45 in the afternoon. I just got set up. I was in here this morning. I'm hunting a scrape in between two pretty high knobs. Pretty wild morning. I didn't get anything on camera. I should probably get better at filming stuff if I'm going to be bringing a camera all the way out here. Saw 2 bucks and 6 does. I had a younger buck coming in, worked the scrape at 15 yards. There was a bigger buck behind him coming right in, but that younger buck kind of caught my wind a little bit, did some blowing and freaked out the bigger buck. The big buck was hung up at 35 yards. Never gave me a clear shot and just kind of skirted around once that younger buck started blowing. Back in here tonight, sitting the same scrape. My wind's fairly consistently good. It's doing a little bit of swirling though, so really just like 3-hour short sit till dark. Hoping I can get something in that last hour. All right, everyone, here's where we're at. Shot a really big buck this morning. Came in and worked the scrape I was hunting. I thought he was going to leave the scrape broadside and I was going to drill him at 14 yards, but instead he cut right at me. Stuck a frontal shot in him. Never taken one of those before, but I'm shooting the heavy arrow. I'm shooting the fixed blades. I think the arrow flew true. I've just never taken a shot like this before. He ran off probably 100 yards, arrow sticking out of him, and he just kind of walked away from there. I never saw him bed down, but I could tell he was hurt. His mouth was open, and as I was getting down from the tree, I heard a bunch of crashing up there, which I'm kind of in my head about it, thinking that I spooked the deer when I was lowering my bow out of the tree to get down, but at the same time, it could have been him expiring. He had to be at least 200 yards from me at this point, so I couldn't imagine I would spook him that easily, but I'm going to head out and regroup, give him about 5 hours before I take up the track, and hopefully we can get him. We found him. I guess you'll miss the total freak out I had on the side of this mountain in the video, but yeah, I took up the track. Blood was not that great. Ended up finding my arrow, and there was probably 9 inches in the deer, not as much as I wanted there to be, and then eventually blood just kind of cut off on me. It was that point of the track where all hope is lost. At this point I was thinking about backing out for the day. Decided to check this little point, and there he lays. Big old 12 point. It's like a mainframe 8 or 9. Mainframe 8 or 9, but he's got, I mean, look at these brow tines. Got this extra little kicker point and some weird stuff off the back. Beautiful buck. Beautiful buck. So yeah, this is my 2023 Ohio public land buck. 18 or 19 days down here to get him in between 4 different trips. This year was definitely a grinder. I missed a buck. I had a bunch of different shooters within range that I couldn't get shots at, and they all led me to this buck, which was bigger than all the other ones. I have to thank my brother. He's been running a camera in this location for the whole year. He put it out in the spring during the scout, and ever since the rut picked up, something about this area, there's just been bucks all the time back here, and this guy was definitely a roamer. He actually never picked him up on camera, and came in and worked the scrape November 19th. It was like 8:50 in the morning. I hadn't seen anything else. Came in and worked the scrape. I thought he was going to walk out broadside and I was going to get a perfect shot at him, but instead, after working the scrape, he cut right at me. The footage will show he beamed me in the tree, and I was already at full draw, and I run the heavy setup for a reason. I'm pulling 70 pounds. I have a long draw length on my bow, so I felt confident in the shot. It was the first time I had ever taken it before, and clearly it worked out. I did hear the deer crash right away, but I was just super nervous about the whole thing. I knew he was big, but I didn't know he was this big. So now the fun begins. I'm like 2 miles back. I'm down here by myself, but I'm going to sit in this moment for a little bit and just be thankful that I got one. It's been a lot of work put into this deer, and I'm super guilty of putting way too much pressure into myself to get one, but it's moments like these that it makes it all worth it. And again, this guy wouldn't be on the ground if it wasn't for the help of my brother getting me in this spot and also pushing me along the way to keep going and not quit. I'm pretty fortunate to have the time to get out here as much as I do and be able to chase these big mountain bucks in the hills, so it's good that I make use of it. So I'm gonna get this deer gutted and drag him out of here. I got some work to do today, but yeah. It's been 5 hours and 42 minutes since I left the truck with the cart to go get the deer. Yeah, this is nuts. This is probably one of the craziest things I've ever done in my life. I can't even convey in words, like physically, what I had to go through to get this deer out of the woods, but we're almost there.